you doing?
All righty. Season 2, episode 9, The Baptism. I really like this episode.
Wait a minute. You didn't introduce yourself.
I'm Susie Essman.
Yeah, but they might be confused. Someone's like going, all right, I'll try the podcast first before I try the show.
I'm
Jeff
Susie
Garlin.
Essman. You're Jeff, or am I Jeff Garlin? You're Susie Essman.
No, I'm Jeff Garlin. You may know me for other things.
Yes. But we are doing the history of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And for our purposes here, that's how they know you.
Right.
And this is season 2, episode 9, The Baptism.
Right.
And, we talk about these classic Larry domino effect. Something shows up and you know it's going to come back later. This to me is a classic of that.
Right.
We start out with Larry wearing a rather unattractive maroon burgundy jacket, and Cheryl is just, no.
Good morning. No. Larry, no.
No, what? What are you talking about?
Didn't you just wear that jacket yesterday?
Yeah, I'm wearing the exact same outfit. I don't feel like going through that whole decision process of picking out an outfit.
Well, it's awful. You know what? I think it's time to get rid of it.
What are you talking about? What's the matter with it?
Everything.
No.
But you know, it was amazing when we filmed that, and she wants him to get a new jacket, and he doesn't want to because it was a show night.
It was his show jacket, which we'll explain was the jacket he wore for the show taping of Seinfeld.
Right.
So it was kind of a lucky jacket for him.
Yes. Now, this was filmed in the very early 2000s, okay? So it wasn't such an odd jacket. Now you look at it with the big shoulder pads, the whole thing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But back then, we had sort of just come out of that look in the 90s, and here we are, boom diggity. And so when we were filming it, I didn't think like, oh, that's horrible. But Cheryl
did. And she didn't like the color. Larry thought the color looked good. And then she's like, didn't you wear that yesterday? Time to get rid of it. And she's going to be giving her the clothing to Larry's clothing very soon to a homeless guy. So get rid of the jacket.
Yeah. What I was going to say is this moment is the first domino.
Yes.
To fall over.
Right.
All along. This is the first one that's helped set up all of it.
All of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And for those of you aspiring comedy writers out there, this is a good episode to take apart in that sense.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So we move to Larry is going to his office and he's punching the security code in to get the buzz to open the office door. And there's a guy standing right behind him.
You can feel him,
very close.
Yeah.
We really, in his personal space. And you know that it's creepy and you know something weird is going to happen with that guy too. He gets buzzed into the office and his assistant tells him that Lewis is there. Richard Lewis is there waiting for him. And Larry tells his assistant, Antoinette, that he's going to Monterey for the weekend.
Antoinette
Spoler. He's going to Monterey for the weekend. That Becky, Cheryl's sister, is marrying a Jewish guy who's converting, which is already, And Larry says, I'll leave you the number where we're going to be, etc. And he enters his office. And,
hold on. A couple things back.
Yeah.
He had already asked Cheryl at this point, and he already asked Annette what a baptism is. And he's not really getting a straight answer.
Yeah.
They're both like, don't want to. It's like you and I explaining Purim, even though a baptism is taken more seriously. But it's like, how do you explain? I say a Jewish Halloween with 3 characters. That's the easy. So they don't really want to explain it.
Now, he asked Cheryl later on, but he asks his secretary, his assistant here. Yes, so he doesn't know what a baptism is.
But as you know, I nitpick technical things on the show.
And what was this one?
There was 2 establishing shots. In other words, they show the outside of the building. Larry goes to the door. He talks to his assistant. Then there's music and a shot of the exterior of his office again, and then the Richard Lewis scene. And to me, it's jarring.
See, I don't even notice
No, because I'm all about with television, with movies, how much do you respect the audience? And did we think that audiences were so dumb that they
wouldn't know they were still in the office?
By the way, establishing shots don't even work for the second time later in a movie or a TV show. You don't, we recognize the interior. So the fact that we use that within, I'm going to say a minute of when we last saw it is insane. All right, had to get that out.
Okay. So he's in the office and Lewis is there waiting for him. And Lewis is like, I have something to tell you. I know you're going to take this the wrong way. You always take things the wrong way. And then the ridiculous statement that Lewis makes is,
oh, God, I hate doing this because, you always take it the wrong way. You've taken everything the wrong way ever since I've known you. 7 years ago, I was in Paris, and I remember exactly...
Forget Paris!
All right, you stole my outgoing message on my answering machine.
What are you, crazy?
How long? I mean, this is...
What are you, nuts?
I know you're ethical.
Huh?
I'm ethical. We don't... when people steal jokes, we fucking hate that. But I hate when people fucking steal my outgoing messages. I remember calling you...
You don't even know what you're talking about. You are
You
so
have
off
my
base.
same answering machine outgoing message, and it bugs me.
That's my message. I didn't
wrote
get that
it in
message.
Paris.
You wrote it in Paris. I had that message 7 years ago.
years and years ago. So this has been bothering Lewis for 6, 7 years already, that he believes Larry stole his outgoing message. And Lewis goes into a whole thing. He wrote it in Paris and he knows it was hid. And Larry says, it's bullshit. Larry did not steal the message. And who are you going to trust? An ex-alcoholic or somebody who's been lucid 24 hours a day?
Which is really funny. And being in recovery, that is completely true. Who do you trust? The person who was blinded by their addiction or the person who was clear and clear-headed?
And Larry has never been an addictive personality.
No.
And then Lewis...
He can't get enough of the New York Rangers, though.
He's addicted to sports.
Well, the New York Rangers specifically.
And now Lewis starts with the sob story.
It's mine. I mean, I don't have a wife. I don't have, my parents are dead. You have a family. Come on, change. Can't you? Come on.
Oh, he doesn't have a wife and his parents are dead.
That's right. I hold on to these things.
Doesn't have a wife and his parents are dead. Oh.
I don't have a wife. My parents are dead, which the my parents are dead is just ridiculous. And Larry's just like, I didn't steal your message, but I'll be the man. And I know for a fact this is something Larry's mother used to say to him when he was a kid. She used to say to him, you be the big man, Larry. You be the big man. You go take the high road. His mother used to say that.
Well, by the way, that's what I was taught too. You be especially with fighting with my brother, be the big man.
Is your brother older or younger?
Younger.
Oh, okay. That's
younger. But also we're leaving out Larry mocking Richard.
Yes.
Oh, it's so sad.
I don't have parents.
My parents and I'm not married. What? Oh, dear God, it's so funny.
So funny. My mother, by the way, used to do the opposite. My older brother, who's 5 years older than me, used to beat the crap out of me. And then she would say, what did you do to...
protect yourself?
No. What did you do to instigate? What did you do?
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah.
No, that's
and Larry goes through the you be the big man, and he doesn't want to do that because it's an admission of guilt, and he feels very strongly that he didn't do anything. But he's the man. I'm the man, and I'm a big, expansive man, and you're a small, petty man.
Right.
And is this when he changes the message? Wait a minute.
Yeah, he changes the message right there, right in front of him.
Remotely on his phone.
Remotely on his phone.
What I did not realize until later is that it's his outgoing message on his home phone, not his work phone.
Right.
So that's an important distinction that I think wasn't really clarified.
No, Cheryl asked him
later on.
Yeah, but not in that moment. But it doesn't need to
matter.
be. It doesn't. By the way, that's cool being introduced later because it leads to something.
It certainly does.
Yeah. So when we get there, I'll tell you. So planting the actual seed of what just happened, if you trust that, the show you're watching treats you with respect, that wait a little while before. You don't have to know everything right away.
Lay it out.
And you really don't need 2 establishing shots within a minute.
Okay. I think we could let that go now,
No,
Jeff.
I cannot let it go. And by the way, if you think that when someone brings up the show, if you think that that's not going to bother me, but there's some other stuff I want to talk about.
This is what I love about my particular marriage to Jimmy. We see different things. And I think in my television marriage, we see different things as well.
Yes.
The important things is that you both see things.
Yes, but also on the flip side, And by the way, I would bet everything on it. You're a lot kinder to Jimmy than you are to my character.
Oh.
Night and day. Night and day.
Well, also Jimmy, my real husband, isn't cheating on me,
No.
isn't sneaking
Well, by
behind
the
my
way,
back to do a million
I think
things.
it's a circular hell with
Of
us.
course.
That I'm cheating on you because you treat me like shit. It's like a
And
circle.
yet here we are still married.
I know, which is maybe the only unrealistic thing
I don't
about the
think
show.
so. You
No,
know-
it works for me, but I'm just saying.
My parents had a horrible my grandparents had a horrible marriage, and they were married until they died in their 90s. And my grandfather had a twin that died in infancy, and my grandmother used to always scream at him, "The wrong twin died, Izzy." That's how bad their marriage
Oh my
was.
God!
But they would never have
He
left
couldn't
each
have had
other.
a better name for that
Izzy,
voice.
of course,
Yeah.
Izzy Essman. But they never would have left each other.
Right.
So I kind of see Jeff and Susie in that same way.
Well, I think it is too.
Yeah.
And I don't see him stopping cheating at any point.
And we need each other in a certain way.
Yeah, well, bottom line for comedy purposes.
Exactly. The bottom line for Larry's purposes is really what it is. So Larry changes messages. Then he's home. He's packing, and he's telling Cheryl that he changed the outgoing message.
But wait, hold on. I want to skip this. He is overwhelmed with the idea.
Of packing.
She tells him the list of what he needs.
Yes.
He goes, why can't it all be the same? And I thought of Steve Jobs immediately.
Oh, yeah,
Always
with
in
the turtleneck.
jeans, mock turtleneck, and New Balance shoes. That takes out. And by the way, I don't have great anxiety in my closet, but there is a level of anxiety.
Everybody does, I
And I
think, Jeff.
spend an extra 5 minutes. You know, it could be important. I don't know that I could be doing something else if I just went turtleneck.
Well, every
pants,
woman
shoes.
knows this, of your bed strewn with the different outfits that you've thrown off and putting
Well,
it
that's
together.
a nightmare that no man will ever understand.
Well, he needs a traveling outfit. He needs something for the baptism. He needs something for the wedding. And what do you wear to a baptism? And this is where he says he doesn't know what a baptism is.
Right, to her.
Yes, to Cheryl. But he is. But let me just reiterate that he has told her that he changed the outgoing message to the phone, and she said you did it remotely, and she's not trusting that it was actually
Wait,
done.
I thought that happened in the airport.
No.
My mistake. Okay, keep going.
And he's, what do you wear to a baptism, then a wedding outfit? And then he starts to discuss the baptism with her. And Cheryl says if he didn't convert, Becky would not marry him. And Larry goes into a thing that has always puzzled me. I mean, I understand what it is. Why do Christians always try to convert? Jews do not proselytize and try to convert.
Well, there are the premise of Jews for Jesus, which is kind of like that because they're
the
still
reason.
Jews.
And somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding of why Christians go missionaries to Africa and all of this, the reason why they try to convert people is because they believe that if you are not baptized, you're going to hell.
Well, no, that's a strong belief in most religions like that, and I get
And
it.
so therefore they believe that if you and I don't convert to Christianity, they're saving our souls by having us
Which, by
convert.
the way, very kind of them.
Very kind.
You got to
It's
look
caused
at it
a
the
lot
right
of
way.
problems through the years,
But he says Jews don't convert, and then he does the
the
comparison.
lobster.
Why do Christians take everything so personally with Christ, you know? It's like it's not only do you have to worship him, you want everybody to. It's like I like lobster. Do I go around pushing lobster on people? Do I say you must like lobsters? Eat lobster, it's good, it's good. You know, it's not only where you live, you go to Africa, you travel all over the world, get to eat lobster. Have some more lobster, it's good.
I don't really think it's
We
the
want
same.
you to have lobster.
Yeah, I mean, I like lobster.
Yeah.
So do I force lobster on you?
Do I travel around and tell people, here's some lobster. It'll do you good, like the whole thing.
Yeah, which is a very funny run. Then Larry tells Cheryl he's going to drive to the airport, which she's skeptical of. She doesn't want to drive, take a car service. The car service never comes, and they'll leave very early. Cut to next morning, Larry can't find the tickets. Can't find the tickets.
And by the way, watching, you feel that stress.
yes.
Because everyone is
Everybody
going through
knows
it.
that stress of getting to the airport on time and
But
having to
now
find a
it's on
parking
your
space.
phone, so you'd have to say, I lost my phone.
A lot of things have changed.
Yes.
But we used to have those physical tickets.
Yes.
And the truth was about those physical tickets is that anybody could have taken that ticket. They didn't check ID.
Well, not for the most part of them using them. I think they were still using them after 9/11. But they checked thoroughly, yes. And by the way, they still have them because when you go to the counter, they hand you that
boarding pass.
Yeah, that boarding pass. That's it. It used to be just harder and better paper. That's all.
And
all right.
I actually always like to have a physical boarding pass and not on my phone.
Because we're analog, sister. I
just like a physical thing on my
Accept the
hand.
modern world. Accept technology.
I
Enjoy
do.
technology.
I'm not a technophobe. I accept it.
No,
I like the physical.
You're not a Luddite.
I'm not a Luddite. I like the physical thing in my hand. I just like it.
By the way, it's better, but it's also easier to lose and easier to,
So Larry can't find. He thinks he left them in the office. So do we have time? It's Cheryl's face. She's just like, oh, here we go now with his mishigas. She doesn't say that because she's Goyim. It's what I say. And they go to the office. They're not there. And then you see Larry thinking, and he realizes he knows why they're not there. That creepy guy who looked at the thing before the code to get into the office, saw the code, went into the office, stole the tickets. I knew it, Larry says. I knew it. And Cheryl's like, was anything else stolen?
No, he's wearing blinders at that point to protect himself.
That's right.
He wants to, Larry's character, I believe, always wants to show that he's a victim of circumstance.
Correct.
Yeah, and so this is another one, a big
and this
one.
he wanted to prove that he was right, and he believes that he was right. And Cheryl, they're on the phone. Cheryl's calling the airline. It's one of these customer service nightmares. She's on hold. And they're driving to the airport, and Larry's like, it's traffic, and should I take Lincoln? Which is only people in L.A. know what that means. I need Lincoln approval. And they get to the lot, and there's no
All right, here's
parking
something,
spot.
again, technological
Tell me something
things.
that bothered you.
Okay. Now, quite often, not always, but most of the time, there's green screen has improved so much when you're driving but we didn't do green screen with this, obviously, because back then it was shit. But you're on what's it called? There's a truck driving your car. You're up on a truck.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, on the rig. And while you're doing that, there's a level of crew members rocking the car.
Yeah.
Gently. You would have thought they were driving up the Rocky Mountains and driving, by the way, through smooth L.A. Not that L.A. doesn't have potholes,
but even there was too much rocking.
But even in the parking lot, they're rocking. I go, where are they driving? Where are they driving? This is insane. Bug the shit out of me.
I didn't notice it.
I know. Well, by the way, I'm not worried about continuity. The show's already kind of absurd. You don't need two establishing shots, and you don't need to be on smooth. It was almost like something out of The Naked Gun, that they're making the car rock while they're on smooth.
I don't think so, because I didn't notice it.
Well, that's okay. Whatever.
Although I will say this, when I'm rewatching the episodes for the purpose of the podcast, I am frequently looking down, taking notes. So I don't see it as clearly.
You're missing the gold, or in this case, the shit.
Okay, so maybe there's no spaces in the lot. It's full, and we all know that feeling. And then maybe in retrospect, we should have taken a car service. Finally, he finds a guy leaving. This is a pet peeve of mine, by the way, and I live in New York City, so I go through this a lot. Pull up, a guy's leaving. But they're on the phone. Can't they just leave the spot, let you pull in, and then just sit there and do what they have to do on the street?
I have two feelings on that. Sometimes people are overwhelmed. Something's going on. That's what I think when someone's driving erratically outside of being drunk or high or slow. I'm thinking there's something going on. I'm being empathetic.
Yeah.
So having been that guy in the car, in the space, and people getting mad at me, there was a reason. I wasn't taking a nap. I wasn't reading the paper. I wasn't going,
frequently there's not a reason.
Jim, how are you?
Yeah.
But by the way, yes, that's less. It would be considerate.
Correct.
That someone do that. Outside of that, I don't think it's a rule. To me, it's an act of being respectful to others.
It's being respectful and considerate.
That's correct.
And I would always do that if I could. If somebody's waiting, I've done it many times.
Okay.
If somebody's waiting for a parking spot, I leave my spot and pull up on the side of the road and let them take the parking spot.
All right. Well, you're better than everyone.
I'm not better than everyone. I think
No.
Larry David is
Susie, you are better.
Larry
I love
David
you.
is insinuating that he would do the same thing, and I believe he would.
You're not listening to me. You are really a big bowl of wonderful. Let's
I'm the
continue.
big man.
You are. Okay.
So
good.
the guy's not moving. It just is one of my pet peeves that people do things like that. It's like, just be kind and considerate to other
Right.
people. And I think that's a Larry David thing as well. Finally, the car's leaving. Somebody pulls in really quick. It's one of these nightmares. The lot's filled. They shouldn't even ever let you in. They finally, obviously, find a parking spot to cut to. They're at the long line
Let's
at the ticket
establish
counter.
why we cut away from the parking. He's done milking that situation.
Correct.
If there were 2 or 3 more good jokes, we
We
would have
would've
stayed
still
in the
been there.
parking lot.
Yes.
But the parking lot is over, and I don't even know if there were 2 or 3 more jokes that didn't work. But boom, you moved. This is what comedy, to keep it moving.
Right.
Nothing here. Let's move on.
So we move to the long line at the ticket counter. They get to the back. They try to cut. Wendy Kaminer, was that her name?
Kaminoff.
Kaminoff. Wendy
Yeah.
Kaminoff
Comedian.
played the ticket
Yes.
counter woman.
She was really good.
Yes, she was excellent.
She was every one of those people you've ever met who put on a smiley face.
Passive-aggressive.
Well, put on a smiley face while they're peeing on your leg.
Exactly. And while they're just standing on the counter, you see Larry looking around, looking for the guy who stole the tickets. So he sees a guy, and he approaches the guy. He thinks it's the guy who stole the ticket.
Okay, you can give me the ticket. Okay? I want the ticket.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about the ticket that you took from my office, okay? Yeah, you memorized the building code, you got into the office. I want the ticket. I got to get on a plane. I got a wedding.
I think you
okay?
got me confused with somebody else.
No, I don't think I do.
Look, I don't have your ticket.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah.
But I have my own
Oh,
ticket.
of course you do. Yeah.
It's a bereavement fare.
Yeah.
My mother's dead.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. I'd like to take a look at it, okay? Yeah. It's your ticket, right? It's
Do you
your
wanna see
ticket?
my ticket?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. You want to
Yeah.
see? Let's
I do.
take a look.
Yeah,
all
let's
right,
take a look.
shall we?
Yeah.
What's the name right here? Is it your name? No, it's mine, Chris Darga. See, if this were yours, it would say fucking douchebag.
Sorry about your mother.
His mother's dead. His guy was good. And Larry, I want to take a look. And he calls Larry, I call you a fucking douchebag. He approaches another guy. I know what you did. Then the guy gets up, big guy, towers over him. Go fuck yourself. Then they finally get to Wendy Kaminoff, the ticket agent. The flight is completely sold out and the door is closed. Once the door is closed, that's it. No reopening of the door. She figures out another route. They could fly to San Francisco. Then it's a 100-mile drive. They're in the car. Larry calls Lewis in the car about the outgoing message. He wants Cheryl to verify the outgoing message controversy. Cheryl is done at this point. She's going to miss her sister's wedding. She's going to miss that baptism, which is important to her. And she is just fucking pissed. And she refuses.
By the way, in the script, because one of my favorite things that Larry does is whimsy. Where he just starts yammering in his head. I don't think any of that was in the script. What he was singing about, what he was talking about,
Oh,
and
all
the whole
the stuff
story.
that.
I think that they must have been in the lot. I'm trying to even remember, for at least a couple hours, driving in circles, and on the drive there.
Yeah.
With the
And he's singing nonsense. And
Yeah,
he's
I love that.
Being totally
And he
annoying.
tells a
but
story
actually,
that-
before that important point, he checks the machine. He calls his phone, checks the machine. There's no outgoing message. Important story, Penn. And also, there's no nav. There's no navigation.
which
and
we touch on later on in the show.
And he's being completely annoying in the car. Nice country. Let's settle down. Why is there no grape pie?
Yeah.
Did we need Alaska and Hawaii?
By the way, the best one I thought, have you ever had a fresh grape?
Have you?
A fresh grape. I've had a fresh apple, was it? I never had a fresh grape. And he, of course, means picking off the vine.
Yes.
But the idea that he's never had a fresh grape.
Did we need Alaska and Hawaii? They ruined the continental United States. What is Puerto Rico? Just on and on annoyingness. And Cheryl can't take it. And they're lost. And they just pull over. They get out. And Larry sees a guy being dunked in the water in the distance. doesn't know what it is, just sees a guy's head going down, and he screams to stop. He thinks there's a drowning, and he screams. He thinks that the fiance is drowning, and all of a sudden...
Wait, hold on. He doesn't know
it's the fiance.
Yeah.
Has he not met the fiance?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so Larry sees the baptism in process, but he doesn't know that it's a baptism, and he screams. He thinks he's drowning, and everyone all of a sudden is in the water. It's a complete
chaos,
melee,
mayhem,
and the minister afterwards is handing out towels, and Becky, in her inimitable way,
What the hell is the matter with you?
I thought that he was drowning him, okay? I'm sorry.
Bullshit. You didn't think he was drowning him. You just didn't want him to convert. So you came screaming down the hill to stop it.
What do I care? I don't care if he converts. What do I care?
That is ridiculous. You didn't want to lose a Jew and you know it.
I don't care if I lose Jews. Take them all. I don't need them.
I don't want them. That was the whole point of the baptism, but you came and blew it.
What is that supposed to mean?
I want you. I don't want you to be
Just
Jewish.
tell her you didn't. It was an accident.
I don't know what a
interrupt.
baptism was.
the Becky-Larry relationship is a lovely thing. Becky, you didn't want him to convert, and starts screaming at Larry. You didn't want him to convert. And then we see, and I love this, we see the fiance's Jewish relatives off to the side. And it's Hiram Kasten, and it's David Feldman, and I don't know the woman's name. Do you?
I don't. Maybe she might be I don't know.
And they are approaching Larry and telling him, and why was Hiram on crutches? He just must have hurt himself or something.
I remember him being on crutches all day.
Yeah,
I don't know
so
why.
something. And Hiram Kasten is a comedian. When I started in the mid '80s, was already like the king of the comic strip. He was an old
man before he became.
Well,
an old man.
always an old man, but he was an old fashioned tumbler in the ways that the Catskill comedians.
Yeah.
Hiram was always a throwback, very very funny, but a throwback, like he was born in the wrong time period, And David Feldman, one of the funniest people on this earth, I think.
Great writer, won Emmys for writing both Bill Maher and the Dennis Miller Show on HBO. The thing that David's dear friend, old friend, but the thing that David did that nobody knows, he did the Stephen Colbert from the Colbert Report before Stephen Colbert.
Yes, that's
Meaning
true.
he would go up on stage and say how he hates the Dutch, like all this stuff that people would get mad. And it was so clear that he's joking. And he's got it, but he has a funny twist and a funny angle on all that. And it just...
He makes me laugh.
Oh, by the way,
always has made me
comedians
laugh.
sit in the back on that, dude.
He's another one, a
yeah.
comic.
Yeah.
Very funny. And Hiram... Hi, I'm Dave Levin, and they start to extol the virtues of what Larry did.
Come here. You don't know me, Dave Levin. Huh? I'm the schmuck's brother-in-law. Listen, what you did is a very gutsy thing. Okay?
No, I
I'm gonna
didn't
go on
do
top of you
anything.
now.
I
Let me
mean-
just say, please, you don't take a bow for it. I'm just telling you now.
I
As
did-
one Jew to another, it's a gutsy thing to come in and step in on something like that.
I didn't even...
A mitzvah for my family, thank you.
Let's
You did good. Excuse me, you did good.
But I didn't even...
You don't have to
I
be
thought it
modest.
was...
You don't have to be modest about this, okay? You're with us now, okay? You're with us now, all right?
Feldman says, you did good. And Paul Dooley then chimes in, when do we go back in? Because he needs 2 more dunks to make it official. And the fiance says, no more. I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. And
this is played by Mitchell Whitfield. Who was in My Cousin Vinny with Ralph Macchio. He was, the other guy. I did a TV series with him. He also, for this part, I can't imagine anyone else doing this part. The way he plays frustrated, like
was terrific.
He has to run, So go ahead.
And then I think it was Feldman that said, Rabbi Akiva says, it takes one man. It takes one man. That's a Feldman kind of a line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fiance, what was his name in the show? The fiance.
Oh, I couldn't tell you that.
I forgot. But Mitchell's.
Yeah, Whitfield.
Is very very hesitant about going back in. He doesn't want to go back in. And the ministers, we could do it in the tub. We could use a cup of water. The fiance is doubting the message from God. He feels as though he got a message from God in that moment that no, he should not be converting. And Larry is off with the Jewish relatives. I feel good. And taking credit for something that was completely...
At this moment, when they start yelling at him, that comes next.
That comes next. But Larry is... And we've seen this since then. I don't think we've seen it prior. But since then, we've seen many instances where Larry is taking credit for doing good that was completely inadvertent. He didn't mean to do good, but it was. But
no, he takes complete credit. You see him. But by the way, that grows as he's talking. No, it did say that before, when Mitchell Whitfield's his character says, "I don't want to convert." Paul Dooley or someone says to Larry, what's wrong with him converting? And Larry goes, take them all. Talking about Jews. Yeah. Take them all. I don't need them, which I thought was hilarious. Okay, so back to it.
And then Larry's back with the Jewish relatives. I feel good. And David Feldman says, I'd like you to talk at my daughter's bat mitzvah.
Which unequivocally, funniest line in the
whole episode. I thought the same thing.
And also, by the way, David Feldman, Larry, I've never given Larry an idea. For sure. David Feldman had one, and I went, oh, fuck, I have to tell Larry this. And it wasn't even something that happened to you. The idea of thinking someone's a Holocaust survivor, but the numbers on their arms are actually for the lottery. David Feldman thought of that.
Oh, is that his?
Yeah,
Next
he approached
season.
Larry.
Next season we get to that, which is a hilarious thing.
And that premise is just so...
Well, David I thought that was the funniest line. It's funny, we both thought that was the funniest line in the episode. I'd like you to talk at my daughter's bat mitzvah. Yeah. And then Becky is like, fine, we're not getting married.
I'm not getting baptized.
Well, I'm not getting married.
Okay, Sheldon.
No, this is good. Hey, Larry! Did you hear that? We're not getting married. You happy now, you son of a bitch?
Excuse me, young lady. Don't call him a son of a bitch. This is not a son of a bitch. This man happened to do a wonderful thing today.
What are you saying? That being a Christian isn't a wonderful thing? What are you insinuating?
No, he's not saying wonderful for you. We resent the recruitment.
No, we don't.
No, sir, we don't need you. Your people. Since I got here, you're having a big problem with you.
And the two sides just start in that way, just going at each other, and it's
mayhem again.
A melee and mayhem.
So that scene fucked me up when I saw it.
Why?
Because my parents were in it.
Oh, I didn't recognize them, and I knew them.
It's really hard even to talk about it right now, to see my parents who both passed away there.
I have to go back and look.
As Jews pointing fingers, Yeah. And
were they here visiting? Was that what it was?
I think it was worked out that that's when they would come visit me.
Okay.
And all I did after that episode aired was make fun of my parents, their acting in it. And my mother was much better than my father because my mother
Carol and Jean
Garlin, she gave up her career, which was she got a scholarship to like the Goodman Theater, like this whole thing. Yeah, but she didn't want to do stagecraft, which, by the way, that took me out of acting too. I'm like, fuck stagecraft.
Tell people what stagecraft is.
Stagecraft is the building of the sets, keeping it all together, and it's a lot of handyman work, of which I don't do that. And by the way, I didn't do that when my dad forced me to cut the lawn. Other than that, no, there's no building.
So you're saying Carol was good, but Jean was not?
Carol was fine. My dad yelling and pointing. So now I look at it, and I got hysterical crying last night.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've been in my head since they died. I've not really
seen them
until that scene, and it just knocked me over, and I began weeping.
Well, that's nice that you have that scene.
But it's hard not to cry now, even thinking about it, because it's so overwhelming.
I have to go back and look. I didn't notice them because I had my head down taking notes.
It's okay. I don't think, a lot of times with a background person, extras, background, whatever you want to call it, you only notice them.
If they're bad.
No, there's two reasons. They're bad and extraordinarily look like aliens. Like something will make you go, what the fuck's going on there? But mostly if they're bad. If someone's a good background, you don't even notice them.
I'll tell you this, as it should be. Jimmy my husband was background in Palestinian Chicken, season 8, and he was horrible. He was horrible. He's
So
not
was
an
my
actor.
dad, God bless him.
And Jeff Schaffer, I remember Jimmy. It was important that he did it because he didn't realize that every take he's got to have the intent, because it was a very similar kind of scene. It's the two sides,
Yes.
the Palestinians just going at each other, screaming
Right.
with Larry in the middle. And he didn't realize that each take he had to bring that same intensity. So Jeff Schaffer went over to him and he was telling it because he was right next to me. So he was on camera. It's like, you have to keep up the energy. And it was important that he saw that that's what I have to do. So, the job is not that easy.
Well, no, it's not. But, fake yelling is pretty easy.
And again, Larry and Cheryl are in the middle. They're in the car. Larry and Cheryl in the car. Cheryl is clearly miserable because Larry just destroyed her sister's wedding and had previously destroyed a relationship with Craig Anton in season 1, I believe that was. Yes, that was Beloved Aunt. And so they see the homeless guy in the maroon jacket.
Mark Boone Jr.
Terrific character actor.
He's really great. He's really great in everything he does.
And he comes up to the car and he says, I found the tickets. The tickets were in the maroon jacket.
Which, by the
whole
way,
time.
watching this, I guess because I knew it, but from the thing, I'm like, why is there so much on this jacket? Like, what is that? Because like I just said, there's an important reason for the jacket because it's now the funny wrap up for the show.
And then there's still yet another button
Yeah.
where the homeless guy, Mark Boone Jr. says, I tried to call you, that your number was on the ticket. You guys don't have a phone answering machine?
But hold on, you're missing a key thing here. When he first shows that he found the tickets, he looks at Cheryl like, you fucked up, not me.
Yeah.
So then when he went to the answering machine, Cheryl had the best, maybe moment of acting in the episode. Her slow turn to Larry.
To Larry, yeah.
Oh, it was fantastic. Where, nope, not me. You fucker.
Yeah. And there's there is the perfect domino effect.
Right. But the tip of it, the jacket, the end of it, the jacket.
The jacket and the answering machine.
Yeah.
And both set up in the first 2 scenes.
Yeah. Well, we're done.
There we go. The baptism.
Yeah. And the next episode is the Pirates of the Caribbean salute.
Yes. Always.
The Pirates of the Caribbean episode.
Uh-huh. Who do I play in that?
You play the Johnny Depp role.
Okay. Bye.
See you later.